Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning. I am Nadzifa from SMP TMDA Karanganyar. Here I'm about to deliver a story. Have you ever heard one of the greatest story of all time? The story of heroism, earnestness, devotion, determination, and inspiration that known by any man on earth? I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, I'm going to tell you about it. This is the story about an event that changed history and man who orchestrated it. He was born on March 29 May in the year 1432 in Adrianapolis. From the very young age, his father had raised and prepared him to be a successor. As a child, he was spoiled and lazy learning, a stubborn and mischievous child. So, who is this child exactly? This is him. This is the man whom we know as Muhammad Al Fatih. Fatih means the Liberator, or known in West as Mehmed the Conqueror. I don't want to memorize it, he said when he was asked to memorize the Quran. Sultan Murad was racked his men to come out with a solution. Finally, he appointed Sheikh Ahmad Ismail Al-Qurani. I really have hope that my son can learn from you by any means necessary, Sultan Murad said to him and dismissed him. After a few days, Sheikh Ahmad Ismail Al-Qurani was summoned before the Sultan. How is it? Sultan asked. Pardon me, Sultan, but I have never seen such a bright young man. He was eager to learn and quick learner too. Sultan Murad smiled and nodded in acknowledgement. It's his son after all. Not only he was trained with combat knowledge and war science, but also he was taught about history, geography, astronomy, poetry, and languages. He mastered 7 languages: Turkish, Arabic, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Serbian, and Persian. He was a wise, warrior, and obedient to pure teachings of Islamic knowledge. Dozens of the teachers taught him religious knowledge and art of warfare, smart horse riding, sword fighting, and some others. One day, at age 11, he was summoned by his father in his room, where his father was laid in bed. Yes, father. Son, I'm going to die. I leave my legacy and this empire to you. You know better than disappoint me. You are matured and wise man, wise enough to lead this empire to glory. So remember our sole goal. What is it, son? To conquer Constantinople, father. Not only that, but you have to raise Islam in its highest regard while at it. That's the sole goal. Yes, father, I understand. Soon enough, his father was deceased, and Sultan Muhammad Al Fatih was ascended the throne. And all his life, to the point conquering Constantinople is the one's only was goals he wanted to achieve. In order to do that, he was carefully planned and organized everything. From army, the Janissary were recruited by Al Fatih himself and trained to be disciplined, faithful, and loyal to Sultan cause. To the arsenal, the guns and equipment to break into the city. Some of the most massive cannons one had ever seen were also made for the first time in history for completely the preparation. It took months, even years of comprehensive planning and preparation for the siege. But why? Maybe do you know why? The reason why the city was surrendered and kept safe for hundreds of years is because the walls. Yes, the walls of Constantinople were also Theodosian walls. were are the most advanced, strongest, and known as the most impregnable defensive system in the world at that time. On one night, after 50 days had passed since the day the siege began, where the preparation was complete, fortresses built and plans carried out. "Soldiers, assemble!" loud command was heard in Al Fatih's camp that night. The scattered soldiers around the camp gathered at once at that. Before them stood tall Muhammad Al Fatih in his robe of greatness and magnificence, with his gaze swept around the faces in front of him. "My dear brothers," he began, "tonight we all are here bearing witness of the truth our prophet uttered long before our time, and we will be the one who fulfill that promise. Over 800 years since it was built, there is no one, nobody, nothing had come close to this gate. But we are going to change that. You and me, my dear brothers, in our hands right now lays the strength of Allah, the name of Islam. To Allah we belong, and to Allah we return, and only to Allah we give our body, our soul, and our last breath. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!" The last utterance was called off a thundering, a roaring echo from the rose soldiers. The speech ignited the spirit of army all at once like never before. After doing subuh prayer, the army was ready to strike again, with utmost strength and full of motivation at this time. At last, with Allah's will, Sultan Muhammad Al Fatih and the army took over the gate and the city. The siege Constantinople was with an army between 80,000 and 200,000 souls, an artillery train over 70 large field pieces, and a navy of 320 vessels, the bulk of them transport and storage. On 29 May, Constantinople fell after 57 days siege. He was success to capturing the city, were one of the most important milestones in the development of Islamic history. As practicing the element and praises the spirit of Sultan Muhammad Al Fatih, his success in realizing the hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The city of Constantinople will fall into the hands of Muslims' army. The king is the best king, and the army is the best army. His success is nothing but faith, determination, and consistency. What we can learn from his story is that as long as we always keep our mind off something, we're sure we'll achieve it. No matter the hardship, the hurdler, and the impossible. That's all for me. Thank you for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.